Hello all. It's my first YouTube video. We'll try it out. What we have here, and this is what I'll be working on, is a 51 Chevy Pickup. I've had this for way more years than you would think. Especially bought it probably a little over 5 years ago, and this is still as far as I've gotten on it. We'll see how it goes. Bought it pretty much stock. Had the straight six cylinder in it. Pulled it out, sold it. Craigslist, obviously. Got a 350 for it, small block. I also got that off of Craigslist. Behind the 350, I've got a 700 R4, Craigslist. My front axle, it's a 4-inch drop axle. Bought it off of Sid's out there in California. Ended up getting power brakes. I ended up putting power steering in it. Obviously, all this is not proven yet. So, we'll see how it turns out. I have done a first fire on the motor. I rebuilt the motor. Just nothing fancy. New roller rockers, new piston rings, gasket set. That's it, really, that I can think of right off. Rebuilt that, and I did do a first fire on it. Only ran it for, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds, maybe a minute at the most, just to prove that it'll run, start up. I didn't have any water in it at the time, no coolant, so I was scared to run any further. Interior, what have I done? Ripped the bench seat out, obviously. Let me get some lights on. Alright, back to it. The interior bench seat, ripped it out. Actually sold it, Craigslist. Holy crap, that thing went fast. I mean, I don't know why. It was ratty, but it was all original. Gas tank, it was actually, I purchased this truck, it looked like it already had an aftermarket gas tank in it. It was, I mean, it's reproduction, but it was still in the cab here. I'll rip that out. Actually, see back there underneath the pile of junk, I put an old Ford, I want to say it's F100 gas tank in between the frame rails here. Supports here, I ended up doing the supports myself. Same with the straps and everything. Obviously I did that, just whatever, that's easy enough. So what else? Bench seat. Oh, I got some buckets. I'll be putting some buckets in there. Interior, nothing fancy yet. I did put with that power steering set up, I think it was through I keep calling them POS, but it's Performance Online, I think. I think it's their brakes kit right up there. I can't really hardly see it, but it was a power brake kit through them. Once again, nothing fancy with it. Let's see. Trying to think. Battery. My plan is to put the battery back here. I've already drilled holes for both the positive and negative cable leads. Negative, I'll just ground on the frame there. Battery box will get mounted back here. Originally this vehicle was a a blue. Let me see if I can, yeah, there's a, let me get a light here. There's some more body parts here, there. But anyways, this is what the original color was. Blue. I have since, obviously, there's my grill. Might be a better picture of the blue. Anyways, you can tell it's now a dark gray on the cab. Plan on dark gray cab, hood, and bed. Which there's the bed right there, standing on end. The fenders, running board. Well, running boards will be black as well, but the fenders, running boards, front fender, front grille. Pretty much everything else will be I plan on making just a flat black. Something else I didn't mention, rear end, it's aftermarket rear end. I say aftermarket, it's not original. That's a better term for it. Actually, it's an old Chevy, came out of a ZR2 4-wheel drive pickup. Found on the internet where they say that that's the right track width for these type vehicles, so I got that. That plus the fact that it's got rear disc brakes, came with rear disc brakes on it, as well as posi track. So one thing in my quick measurements, it's going to be close as far as the width of the wheels compared to the width of the bed. So just looking at the shock mounts, the brake calipers, we'll see how close it gets. Hopefully the bed will ride somewhere in between there. Granted, the bed frame itself, the box, will not go that far down, but we'll see. I ran brakes. That is by far the worst part of this whole project I've done, is try to get brake lines run. Every single joint has leaked. Obviously, I will have to take this thing down to a real mechanic to do the brake lines, because evidently I suck at brakes. Like I said, every fitting leaked. Right now it's not leaking only because I'm guessing that all the brake fluid is already leaked out. What else have I done? This is what I'm fixing to start working on. This is, where is it? Where is it there? That's my Speedway wiring harness. I'll be putting it in. That's my next task. Start working on my wiring harness, installing it. As soon as I get it, probably halfway through, I plan on putting a set of Dakota digital gauges in, and the main reason I'm looking at them is because, based on what I've seen online, they'll actually fill the holes up. Everybody else's gauges are almost a ½ inch smaller diameter, so they don't actually fill the whole pod. It'd be like a lot smaller, and you'd have a big old bezel here. I actually want to fill the gauges up, or fill the pods up with gauges, instead of having a big old shiny bezel, which I'm not really into shiny stuff. So I still need to get brake pedal. I ain't figured out what I'm going to do with a brake. I'm actually debating on going to a junkyard, salvage yard, and seeing what kind of pieces and parts I can salvage off of that. That's where I got the rear end, was from a salvage yard. The gas tank came from a salvage yard. What else? That's about all I've gotten from salvage yards here. I probably could have got a whole lot more from a junkyard, but it's so much easier to shop online. It's not easier on the pocketbook though. Radiator, eBay, lots of miscellaneous little odd and ends from eBay. I think the brake line kit I got was from Speedway. Anyways, the reason I'm starting this now, it's been 5 years, and I ended up spending more time watching restoration projects on YouTube than actually working on them. I do more. This is my first project, so I try to learn as much about everything as I can before I dive into something, and that's probably been my downfall. It's one reason why it's taken as long as it has. I had that motor rebuilt for a good, everything's buttoned up and fastened up on it for a good month before I even fired it up, only because I was so terrified of it blowing up on me that I was like, yeah, the further I push it out, the less I have to deal with that heartache. But doing enough YouTube and Google searches and everything, it actually paid off. But like I said, it's what made it take so long, was doing all the research. If I'd actually just jumped right into it, I'd probably be twice as far along. However, I may have, who knows, I may have, if I jumped right into it, who knows, I may have blown that motor up twice before I actually got it running. So I guess there's pluses and minuses. I tend to baby step way too much than I should. Anyways, enough of this. This summer I plan on getting this thing running. I still need a drive shaft, obviously gas pedal. There's other odd and end small things, but that's the primary stuff I can think of right now. I need a slip yoke, drive shaft, gas pedal, obviously. I've got seats, I got the wire and harness. I mean, I can drive it without gauges. I don't want to, obviously, but just to make it go right off the bat, that's all I can think of. I got a little list here of stuff that I need to keep an eye on. Oh yeah, that's probably going to be a big one right there. I don't have a nut on the bottom of my gearbox to hold the pitman arm on, so yeah, I guess that's another thing I might need. I already got the steering shaft. That's done. I got that. I just haven't marked it off. Steering couplers, I got that. Battery cables, I got all that stuff. It's just a matter of doing it, which has always been my problem, doing it. I'll sit here and plan the crap out of something, and then like next thing I know, I'm going back inside saying, yep, that's what I need to do, and I just don't do it. All right, well, enough of this. Let me see if I can get some electrical done. All right.